Welcome to News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss. Here now the news for October 14th, 2020. Senator Elizabeth Warren has penned a poignant, scathing letter to senior executives of the Walt Disney Company, demanding answers in the wake of mass layoffs impacting up to 28,000 cast members across Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort. In it, she reiterates many valid points, from the blatant reinstatement of the salaries of Bob Chapic and other executives just months before the mass layoff, to other questionable company priorities, such as the payment of generous dividends to shareholders and stock buybacks. Quote, "Dear Mr. Iger and Mr. Chapic, I write to express concern about the Walt Disney Company's recent decision to lay off 28,000 workers during an economic recession while reinstating pay rates for highly compensated senior executives. In the years leading up to this crisis, your company prioritized the enrichment of executives and stockholders through hefty compensation packages and billions of dollars worth of dividend payments and stock buybacks, all of which weakened Disney's financial cushion and ability to retain and pay its frontline workers amid the pandemic. While I appreciate that your company has continued to provide health care benefits to furloughed workers for the past 6 months, thousands of laid-off employees will now have to worry about how to keep food on the table as executives begin receiving hefty paychecks again." The letter starts out acknowledging the company's efforts in providing health care to its furloughed workers throughout the pandemic, but ultimately bringing to light the fact that thousands of cast members will now have to worry about their livelihoods, while CEOs like Bob Chapek are back to raking in millions of dollars in bonuses. Quote, "Since the start of the pandemic, California has had over 830,000 COVID-19 cases, and over 16,000 individuals in the state have died, while your company has blamed your decision to lay off thousands of workers on California public health measures, which were implemented to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and save lives. Nearly 6,400 of the employees you laid off are actually in Florida. And just last week, another 8,857 part-time employees were laid off, also in Florida. California is now a point of contention as state officials and Disney executives butt heads over reopening dates and guidelines. As Warren succinctly points out, while Disney blamed the prolonged closure of Disneyland Resort as a major factor in the financial impact of COVID-19, the majority of the layoffs took place in Florida. The September 29th announcement describes reducing staff as a very difficult decision resulting from the prolonged impact of COVID-19 on our business. However, this explanation fails to acknowledge Disney's short-sighted business decisions that reduced its capital, including spending billions of dollars on to repurchase its own shares over the last decade, 2, rewarding its shareholders through billions of dollars in dividend payments, and 3, showering top executives with over-the-top compensation packages. Warren boldly states that Disney's short-sightedness is what ultimately led to the layoffs, and while penned as a very difficult decision, it's unclear the company will offer these cast members any form of relief. In short, quote, "Disney took good care of its top executives and shareholders and now is hanging its frontline workers out to dry." You can read their full letter embedded on our site, including a series of 7 follow-up questions, which she demands a response to by October 27th. Senator Warren's thoughts mirror many of the opinions we've reflected across our posts here at WDWNT, and we appreciate her taking a stand on behalf of cast members across both coasts. Meanwhile, Disney, in now classic fashion for them, this is what they do, has clapped back in an attempt to cast doubt over the meticulously worded and well-researched letter sent to the company executives, written by Warren. CNBC shared the statement issued to them by a company spokesperson during today's Closing Bell segment. The statement indicated that the letter was filled with inaccuracies without addressing any in particular. This is every PR response we get from them. Disney's full response reads, quote, "Senator Warren's misinformed letter contains a number of inaccuracies. We've unequivocally demonstrated our ability to operate responsibly with strict health and safety protocols in place at all of our theme parks worldwide, with the exception of Disneyland Resort in California, where the state has prevented us from reopening, even though we have reached agreements with unions representing the majority of our cast members that would get them back to work." This is nuts. It's one thing for Disney to put out responses like this to me. It's another thing for them to put them out to Governor Gavin Newsom. Warren has raised the correct questions. In an age where the CEO of Southwest Airlines has foregone a year's worth of salary to help his company, Bob Chapek, first and foremost, only took a 50% pay cut, while Iger took a full, by the way, at the beginning of this, and then restored his salary months ago, only to lay off 28,000 people. This man does not care. He doesn't care. He needs to go. He is a cancer in this organization. He is a terrible human being, and he needs to be gotten rid of. End of conversation. That's where I stand. Moving on. In an interview with CNBC earlier this week, Disney CEO Bob Chapek stated that the Walt Disney World theme parks were still capped at 25% capacity. Does this guy have anything honest to say? And will remain at that level until CDC guidelines change. Say what you will, but we've seen crowds mirroring our pre-COVID park days in the past few weeks. And while 25% capacity seems low, it definitely feels far more crowded than 25%. Of course, with social distancing, it's normal for lines to wind further away, but I will tell you that pathways in the park are certainly busier. Restaurants are busier. Everything is busier. So this 25% thing can't be real. If it is, then they weren't actually at 25% before. Something's very suspicious with all of this. It just feels like, as usual, at this company, what they say and what they do, two very different things. The audio announcement that periodically plays at Walt Disney World theme parks, reminding guests to follow health and safety guidelines, has been updated once again. This update states that guests not following face mask guidelines will be asked to leave.
For the health and safety of everyone, face coverings must fully cover your nose and mouth, and be worn at all times, except when actively eating or drinking while stationary. Guests that do not comply will be asked to leave. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you for your cooperation.
The announcement also explicitly states that these are guidelines for everyone's health and safety. This edition reflects signs that have been added to the parks instructing guests to properly wear those approved face coverings. While these situations are rare, it seems a guest was recently caught with an AR-15 rifle and a handgun checking in at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort at Walt Disney World. The man claims he was worried for his family's safety during the social justice protests in Central Florida. According to Gabrielle Rusin of the Orlando Sentinel, a 43-year-old man from Palm Beach Gardens checked into the Polynesian, the DVC portion of the resort that's open, the Saturday during the Labor Day holiday weekend with his guns packed inside of a tennis bag. A bellman discovered the guns after wondering why the bags were so heavy. Management then contacted the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The man had a concealed weapons permit, bringing a total of 3 rifle magazines with 90 rounds and 2 9mm magazines with 20 rounds. Disney stored his guns through the end of his stay at the hotel's safe. The rifle was stored at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Guns or weapons of any kind are not allowed on Walt Disney World property, regardless of whether a guest has a permit or not. On weekdays, starting October 14th, pass holders can discover a shop just for them at Epcot. Located in Der Teddy Bar, the Germany Pavilion Shop, World Showcase, the shop will be open Monday to Friday from 11:30 a.m. to park close. And that's October 14th through November 17th. Please note that the shop's dates are subject to change as well as the hours. The shop is exclusive to pass holders. You'll need to show your annual pass card and government-issued photo ID to enter. Once inside, pass holders will discover exclusive merchandise, new World Showcase products, and more. Shop capacity is limited and entry is not guaranteed. Operating hours and dates of operation, again, subject to change. Valid park admission or park reservation for the same park on the same day are required for theme park entry. Remember that. We found 3 new collections in the shop, being based off of pass holder magnets, the Germany Pavilion, and a Minnie Mouse merchandise collection that came all the way from Disneyland Paris. Get on over to our website to see all 3 of those merchandise lines as well. On top of that, pass holders can get a complimentary pass holder cutting board or coaster set with any $50 purchase. These were the ones they gave away in past years at festivals, and now you can get them with the purchase. Epcot has now introduced contactless security scanners at the main entrance of the park. These scanners were already in use in International Gateway as well as at Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. The scanners are created by Evolve and are said to be the fastest weapons screening system on the market. They're able to scan 60 people every minute and are 10 times faster than other systems. These contactless scanners are ideal for security amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Going forward, they'll facilitate the arrival process, making entering theme parks quicker and more efficient. Evolve scanners have also been installed now at the Disneyland Resort. Sections of backstage have been opened at Disney's Hollywood Studios to create more space for the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run physically distanced queue in Galaxy's Edge. The first backstage area open is right next to Millennium Falcon, out in the courtyard there of Docking Bay. When we were there, the wait time for Smuggler's Run was 110 minutes, so they were using all this. Another area was open next to First Order Cargo, and the line ended just past this area. Social distancing markers were put on the ground in these backstage areas, so they do plan to use them. Unfortunately, this does kind of ruin the Galaxy's Edge story, but I guess, it's a pandemic. But in an age where we're being told that capacity is still the same, but lines are somehow longer, that doesn't make sense. You were still at capacity at studios those days, so obviously something changed. Fishy. Last month, a soft plastic divider was tested on one of the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance cars in Galaxy's Edge. As we've been checking on the ride, we've only seen that divider on that one vehicle. And now a hard plexiglass divider is being tested on a single vehicle as well. We are lucky enough to be seated in it. The divider is between the 2 rows of seats inside each prison transport. For now, even with the divider, our single rider reported they were the only person loaded into the car. So they're not using it yet. They're just testing it at this point. But yeah, this plexiglass divider would allow them to seat 2 different parties of 4 or less in one of these vehicles. We'll see if that happens at some point in the future if they like this. Personally, I'm not going to go through all this process to sit behind plexiglass. It seems like a bit much. Build your own droid parts are now discounted and available separately in the Droid Depot in Galaxy's Edge. These parts can be purchased separately from a droid itself, so you can continue to customize the one you already own. In August, we saw droid panels were also discounted. These they've always sold separately. Each of these parts is regularly $14.99, but when you buy 3, they're $10. This means you could buy 3 parts for $30 to the normal price of $45, basically getting 1 part for free. Yak and Yeti restaurant and local food cafes reopened with the rest of Animal Kingdom in mid-July, and we revisited Yak and Yeti for a lunch. And after a full meal, we're sharing our thoughts about each item with you and including a new fixed menu, which I think is a great value. You can head over to our site to see pictures and a full review of this new fixed menu, which I highly recommend. In another change to the phased resort reopening schedule at Walt Disney World, Disney's Coronado Springs Resort is now pushing back its reopening a little bit to October 16th. The new reopening date has been added to the Know Before You Go landing page. The resort's Grand Casino Tower recently housed various NBA teams for lodging, with the rest of the resort's facilities used for training, as well as housing media. With the finals now completed, the resort must now be prepared to welcome back guests. Date for remaining resorts still scheduled to reopen are as follows: the Art of Animation Resort on November 1st and Disney's Polynesian Village Resort in the summer of 2021. Meanwhile, no reopening dates are still announced for Disney's All-Star Resorts, Disney's Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside, Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, the non-DVC rooms, and Disney's Wilderness Lodge, as well as the Beach Club and the Boardwalk. Wolfgang Puck Express, a fast casual dining location in Disney Springs, unexpectedly shut its doors last week and is now closed permanently. Wolfgang Puck Express was located in the Marketplace section. It closed with the rest of Walt Disney World in March, but did reopen in mid-July. Since it closed again, its windows have been covered and signs and menus been taken down. A statement issued to a journalist, Ashley Carter of Spectrum News 13, indicates that the location officially closed forever on October 1st. Wolfgang Puck Express was one of the restaurants included in the weekday at Disney Springs discount offer, but obviously that's not happening. Meanwhile, Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill in Disney Springs Town Center remains open. This is sad because I know many of you who visited before it was Disney Springs probably remember there were more limited quality food offerings at downtown Disney for many years. And I thought one of the best counter service was Wolfgang Puck Express, and we had many, many meals there. I'm very sad. I haven't eaten there much in past years. I think maybe they just couldn't compete with all the great restaurants that have opened in the last couple of years. It's still sad. It's a long-standing resident of the Marketplace that was lost. We learned last month that the Keister Coaster water slide at Luna Park Pool at Disney's Boardwalk Resort would be closing for refurbishment. The water slide is notorious for its giant, creepy clown face, but the clown is no more. No, Bob Chapic wasn't fired. I'm sorry. No, the clown on the pool was removed. Luna Park Pool still remains accessible to Boardwalk and Beach Club Resort guests while the water slide is closed. The place where the clown face once sat is surrounded by blue sky-themed scrims. Nearby construction workers were on the slide itself. The clown face was bigger than even these scrims, and the construction walls suggest guests on the water slide, of course, would emerge from the clown's mouth. Wasn't creepy at all. The water slide is expected to reopen at the end of this month, though the refurbishment will continue around the Luna Park Pool in November. Luna Park Pool is based on turn-of-the-century Atlantic City, so the clown was pretty accurate to Atlantic City back in that time, but no one liked the clown. It's unsure if there will be any face there or what the slide will look like when it's done, but we'll keep you posted. Disneyland has reached return-to-work agreements with 11 cast member unions, making the reopening of Disneyland Resort and the theme parks possible as soon as the government guidelines are issued. From the Orange County Register, quote, to date, 11 unions representing the vast majority of Disneyland cast members have signed agreements including health and safety measures that will allow Disneyland to responsibly bring back staff as soon as possible. Disneyland has reached an agreement with Workers United Local 50, the resort's second largest union, that will allow for food and beverage cast members to return to work, according to Disney officials. Disneyland has reached return-to-work agreements with 10 other unions, including Master Services Council, Independent Employee Services Association, Craft Maintenance Council, and International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. As Disneyland strives to prove that it is in fact ready to open safely, the California Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Galey reiterated that reopening dates and guidelines for theme parks will come out when they're ready. You could say this latest shipment of face masks is making us un poco loco at the World of Disney at Disneyland Resort. A bevy of new styles have just arrived, including Pixar favorites like Toy Story, Up, and Coco, plus classics like It's a Small World, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the true original Mickey Mouse. There's even a new Marvel-themed mask. We found all of these again at the Downtown Disney District at Disneyland Resort. We expect them to arrive at Walt Disney World soon. Each mask costs $6 plus tax. They come in a variety of sizes for children and adults. Shop Disney has revealed a sneak peek of the upcoming Minnie Mouse The Main Attraction collection that's set to be released soon, and it's themed to the world-famous Jungle Cruise. In November, get ready for the most comedic boat tour to ever sail, and if you don't think so, you're in denial, as Minnie Mouse becomes the skipper of the Jungle Cruise collection. The set includes striped sequin Minnie ears with an animal print jungle twist, plus a mug, pin set, Loungefly backpack, and an adorable Minnie plush. To view these cute items, set to release next month, you can visit WDWNT.com. And for more information on these stories and more, you can head on over to WDWNT.com as well. This program is brought to you by our travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next magical trip. The best part, their services are free. Visit WDWNT.travel for details. The Vacationeer, the official travel agency of WDWNT. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today on YouTube for more great content, and click the bell for notifications. Also, make sure to hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of News Today. As well, don't miss News Tonight, Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Don't miss it. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. And clearly, I dislike Bob Chapek. Don't know if you caught on to that, everyone. He's a mean man. Mean man.
WDW News Tonight is our weekly comedy show combining the news of the week, comedy segments, thoughtful discussions, insane characters, parody commercials, games, and more. Watch live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. and become a WIGS member to get access to a bonus post show. Watch WDW News Tonight episodes anytime and live on YouTube, or get the audio-only version on iTunes and other podcast services.